This video is not going to be pleasant. In fact, I'll warn you now, what follows might sting a little. It might crawl under your skin like a splinter you didn't know was there. Because today, we're going to talk about something you already know, but have spent years pretending you don't. You love your misery, not openly, of course. Not in a way you'd ever admit at a dinner party or even whisper to yourself in the bathroom mirror. No, it's deeper than that. It's the kind of love that hides in basements, the kind that wears the mask of suffering, the kind that has convinced you, brilliantly, I might add, that you are the victim of a cold and unfeeling world. But here's the thing. What if I told you that the cell you think you're trapped in, you built it, brick by brick, and somewhere, in the dim light of your underground kingdom, you've started to enjoy the architecture. There's a book that has haunted me for years. It's only about 150 pages. A small thing. You could read it in an afternoon, and many have. But the ones who really read it, who let it seep into their bones, those people come out the other side changed, disturbed, looking over their shoulder as if the narrator might still be watching them from some dark corner of their apartment. The book is Notes from Underground by Fyodor Dostoevsky, published in 1864, and the narrator, known only as the Underground Man, is perhaps the most uncomfortable mirror ever held up to the modern psyche. He is, on the surface, unremarkable. A former government clerk, a man of modest means and even more modest ambitions. He lives alone in a damp room in St. Petersburg, and he has retreated almost entirely from the world. He hates people, he hates society, he hates the optimism of the age, the belief in progress, the idea that man can be improved through reason and science. But most of all, and this is the part that cuts, he hates himself. And here's where it gets interesting. He knows he's miserable. He is acutely, almost painfully aware of his own wretchedness. He sees it clearly, like a man examining his own gangrenous limb with scientific detachment. And yet, and here's the twist that Dostoevsky plants like a knife between your ribs, he refuses to change. Why? Because his misery has become his identity. His suffering has become his crown. His resentment has become his throne. And I'm willing to bet you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's be honest with each other for a moment. You, the person watching this video, you're not stupid. You're probably more intelligent than average. You're probably more sensitive than most. You notice things, you feel things. You see through the shallow games that others play without blinking. And precisely because of this, because of your intelligence, your sensitivity, your damned ability to see, you've been hurt. The world disappointed you. Maybe it was early. Maybe it was a parent who didn't see you, a teacher who crushed your curiosity, a friend who betrayed you when you were too young to understand that people could do such things. Or maybe it was later, a lover who revealed that the poetry you thought you were living was just prose after all, a career that led nowhere, a society that rewarded mediocrity and punished depth. Whatever it was, something broke, and in that breaking, something else was born. A decision, a silent, almost unconscious decision that went something like this. If the world cannot meet me where I am, then I will retreat. I will go underground. I will build a kingdom of my own making where I am the only king and where no one can touch me ever again. Sound familiar? The Underground Man is not some distant literary curiosity from 19th century Russia. He lives in you. He lives in me. He lives in that friend of yours who just doesn't like people, in the artist who never finishes anything because the world isn't ready, in the cynic who tears down every idea because it's all been said before. He lives in every person who has transformed their wound into a worldview. And here's the uncomfortable truth that Dostoevsky understood a century and a half ago that psychologists are only now catching up to. The Underground Man doesn't want to leave. Let me tell you something that might make you angry. There is a pleasure in suffering. Not a healthy pleasure, not a clean pleasure, but a pleasure nonetheless. Sticky, dark, and impossibly seductive. Dostoevsky writes that the underground man experiences a kind of voluptuous pleasure in his own degradation. He wallows in his failures. He replays his humiliations over and over again in his mind, not to learn from them, but to feel them, to experience that strange, perverse satisfaction that comes from being the victim of an unjust world. And if you're honest, really honest, you know this feeling too. There is a sweetness in being wronged. There is a dark comfort in saying, "The world did this to me." There is something almost religious about being the martyr, the misunderstood genius, the prophet without honor. You get to be special without doing anything. You get to feel superior without having to prove it. You get to sit in the darkness and say, "If only they knew. If only they could see what I see." But they can't see, because you won't let them see. Because you've hidden yourself so deeply that even you don't know where you are anymore. This is the great trap. The underground man believes he is suffering because the world is unbearable. But the truth is simpler and more terrible. He is suffering because suffering is the only way he knows how to feel alive. His pain is his proof of existence. His resentment is his reason to wake up. His bitterness is the only flavor left in his mouth. And so he clings to it, defends it, builds walls around it, and calls them philosophy. In my studies of this phenomenon, both in literature and in the living, breathing people I've known, I've noticed a kind of pattern, a descent, if you will, a staircase that leads from the light down into the underground. Let me walk you through it. It begins with a disappointment. The world does not match the ideal you carried in your chest. Reality is rougher, meaner, less beautiful than you thought it would be. The people are shallow. The jobs are meaningless. The romance is not what the books promised, and so you begin to pull back. Not all at once, just a little. You decline an invitation here. You stop returning a call there. You spend more time alone, telling yourself you're just recharging. But really, what's happening is simpler. You're retreating. You're taking your first steps toward the underground. At this stage, it looks almost noble, the sensitive soul who can't stand the noise, the intellectual who needs solitude to think, the artist who must protect their inner flame from the cold winds of mediocrity. But here's what you're actually doing. You're choosing the dream over the real. You're deciding, consciously or not, that if reality cannot match your expectations, you will reject reality altogether. You will live in your head. You will build a world of ideas, of fantasies, of perfect images that no living, breathing human could ever live up to. And this is the first step down. This is where things start to curdle, because once you've retreated, once you've made your pain the center of your universe, something unexpected happens. You start to enjoy it. The criticism becomes a kind of sport. You develop opinions on everything, not because you care, but because judging gives you a sense of power. You sit in your dark room and look out at the world and think, "Fools, all of them, if only they could see what I see." And there's a pleasure in this, a sick, sticky pleasure that coats the back of your throat like honey gone wrong. Dostoevsky calls it the pleasure of despair. You found a way to feel superior without doing anything. You found a way to be special without risk. Your suffering has become your credential. Your isolation has become your throne. And why would you ever leave? The world is out there, sure, but the world requires effort. The world requires vulnerability. The world might reject you, might prove you wrong, might show you that you're not as special as you think you are. Better to stay here. Better to be the misunderstood genius in the dark than the awkward human in the light. Now something more dangerous begins to happen. Your retreat has become structural. It's no longer a choice. It's a habit. It's no longer a philosophy. It's your personality. You can feel it in your body. Social situations become unbearable. A simple handshake sets off a cascade of self-conscious thoughts. You rehearse conversations before they happen and dissect them after. You develop a kind of paranoia. Everyone is judging you. Everyone is against you, or worse, no one is noticing you at all. Your energy rises into your head. You become all thought and no action, all critique and no creation. You know exactly what's wrong with the world, with art, with politics, with love, but you cannot bring yourself to actually do anything about it. Because doing would require leaving the underground. Doing would require showing your face. Doing would require risking failure, and failure, you've convinced yourself, would be the end. So you stay, paralyzed, spinning in circles in the dark, telling yourself elaborate stories about why you can't move. This is the bottom. By now you've been underground so long that you've forgotten what the surface looks like. Your suffering has become total. Your isolation is complete. And yet, even here, something human survives. A need. The last, stubborn, irreducible need. The need to be seen, not loved, necessarily. Not even understood. Just acknowledged. Noticed. Proven that you exist in the minds of others. The underground man becomes desperate for this. He engineers conflicts just to feel the friction of another person. He says outrageous things to provoke reaction. He humiliates himself in public, not because he enjoys it, but because even negative attention is better than none at all. This is the final irony. The man who retreated because he felt unseen now spends all his energy trying to be seen. The man who rejected the world now cannot survive without the world's reaction to him. He has become a parasite on the attention he pretended to disdain. And this final, desperate grasping is what leads to the worst outcomes. The cruelty, the manipulation, the harm we do to others when we cannot stand another moment of our own invisibility. So, here we are. I've painted the portrait of the underground man. I've shown you his descent. I've mapped the stages of his disease. And now I have to ask you the question you've been avoiding since this video began. How much of this is you? Don't answer quickly. Don't defend yourself. Just sit with it. That friend who never texts back because they're so exhausted, is that really exhaustion or is it something else? That project you've been working on for years but never finish, is it really perfectionism or is it fear? That critical voice in your head that tears apart everyone and everything, is it really discernment or is it protection? How much of your solitude is chosen and how much is self-imposed exile? How much of your suffering is real and how much is performance? How much of your identity is based on who you actually are and how much is based on what has hurt you? I'm not asking to shame you. God knows I've lived in the underground myself. I've built walls and called them wisdom. I've polished my resentments until they shone like medals on my chest. But if this video is going to mean anything, if any of this is going to matter, you have to be willing to see yourself, because the first step out of the underground is the most painful one, admitting you don't want to leave. All right, enough diagnosis. Let's talk about the cure, or rather, let's talk about the only two things that I've ever seen actually work for people trapped in the underground. They're simple, almost embarrassingly simple, and that's probably why no one does them. The first medicine is humility. I know, it's not sexy. We live in an age that worships self-expression, self-confidence, self-everything. The last thing anyone wants to hear is that they need to get smaller. But here's what I mean by humility: admitting you might be wrong about yourself, about others, about the world. The underground man is certain. That's his tragedy. He is absolutely, poisonously certain that he understands everything, that the world is rotten, that people are shallow, that nothing will ever change. And this certainty is his prison. Humility is the key. Not groveling, not self-hatred, just openness. The possibility that maybe, just maybe, your interpretation of reality is not the only one, that the people you've written off might have something to teach you, that the life you've rejected might contain something worth living for. This means revising the story you've told yourself. Maybe you're not the tragic genius the world failed to recognize. Maybe you're just a human being who got hurt and built a fortress instead of a bridge. Maybe, and this is the hardest one, you don't need to be special to be worthy of love. Maybe being ordinary is enough. I know, it burns, but sit with it. The second medicine is action. The underground man is allergic to action. He can think, analyze, critique, theorize, rationalize, philosophize, but he cannot do. And there's a reason for this. Action is terrifying because action is visible. Action can be judged. Action can fail. The moment you step out of your head and into the world, you become vulnerable. But here's the secret that every person who has escaped the underground eventually learns. Action is the only cure for thought. You cannot think your way out of the underground. Every thought leads to another thought, which leads to another, which leads back to where you started. It's a closed loop, a maze with no exit. The only way out is through your hands. Build something, finish something, ship something, show up somewhere. Say something true out loud to another human being's face. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. Write the poem and post it, even if it's bad. Send the message and wait for the reply, even if it hurts. Go to the thing and stay until the end. Even if you're uncomfortable. Every action you take in the real world is a small rebellion against the underground. Every time you choose doing overthinking, you loosen the chains. I want to end with something I rarely say in these videos. I don't know if you're going to make it. Some people escape the underground. They find their way back to the surface, blinking in the light, and they build lives that would have seemed impossible from the darkness. But some people don't. Some people burrow deeper. Some people become so attached to their suffering that they cannot imagine life without it. Some people would rather be right than be happy. I don't know which one you'll be. But I know this, the door is not locked. It never was. You've just convinced yourself that the key is somewhere out there, in someone else's hands, in some future success, in some perfect circumstance that will finally give you permission to live. But the key is in your pocket. It always has been. You just have to decide that you're worth using it on, now. Some of you are going to close this video and immediately scroll to the next thing. The underground will resume its hold. The comfort of suffering will wrap around you like a familiar blanket. But a few of you, maybe just a handful, will sit for a moment. Will feel the splinter I mentioned at the beginning. Will recognize something true in these words that you've been running from for years. And maybe, just maybe, you'll put down the phone. You'll look around. You'll feel the weight of your own body in the chair. And you'll decide. That's all it ever is, in the end. A decision. To stay below, or to begin the long, difficult, glorious climb toward the light. I'll see you on the surface, or I won't. The choice, as always, is yours.